to this very interesting, exciting panel. Uh, it's we have no moderator. We are the moderators of each other. So I moderate you, you moderate me.
Sure.
And I start moderating. So
Yes.
the floor is yours.
Thank you, thank you. It's really nice to be here again. This is one of our favorite events. It's interesting. This is interesting topic because it involves not only music but different types of arts and how music is immersed in the context of overall culture. I'm Sara Vuletic. I'm a program director of Novi Sad European Capital of Culture. I don't know if you are following European Capital of Culture each year, but this year, 2022, Novi Sad was the European Capital of Culture, so we have literally 1 month left, even though our program is almost ending. And it was a very interesting process. We were supposed to be European Capital of Culture in 2021, but due to COVID, we had to postpone the Capital of Culture. And Veszprem is the Capital of Culture next year in 2023. We are very close to each other. We have very interesting collaborations. Our teams are cooperating very well. And I think the best part about this project is actually this intercultural collaboration between the cities. Because we are, as we like to call it, one big European Capital of Culture family. So we tend to learn a lot from each other and exchange experiences. Now, in Novi Sad in particular, we had a lot of programs related to music. Music was incorporated in all the segments as well. We had all different genres of music, from classical music to popular music, alternative, jazz, rock, more contemporary. We will talk in detail a little more. And what is interesting also is that we followed the very particular concept. So basically our program has different themes every 2 months. And music and different art disciplines follow those themes. We try to involve the themes that celebrate European values, but we like to put them in the context of our culture as well and heritage. So we had themes from migrations to peace and reconciliation, female creativity, creation of minority groups, etc. So I'm actually very curious. I will say a little more later about some programs in particular, but I'm very curious into how did you incorporate music into your program and how does it immerse it? Because I know Veszprem is also the UNESCO City of Music, and it has rich history of music even before this title year. So,
so as you said, Veszprem will be Capital of Culture next year, so it's like a direct, timely connection as well between the two cities, not just geographic connection. And also we'll mention later that there is a bridge between the two, like this shared project MOST. That both cities hosted and will host events connected to MOST. So in Veszprem, as a city of music and as a European Capital of Culture, obviously there are a lot of music-related programs, but and that's also like we approach music from many sides. On the one hand, there is a strong focus on the amateur music scene in the city because that's kind of at the heart of the city's music strategy. On the other hand, there is a focus on music as a way of connecting different cultures and cities. So that's kind of a part of MOST as well, but also like another project called Interurban in Veszprem, where
we are also participating.
Yes, there is also like a connector between the two cities, because Novi Sad is one of the 25 cities involved in this interurban project, where there is like a city-to-city exchange, and many of the it's not limited to music only, but a lot of it is music related.
And you have a lot of outdoor events during summer as well.
Obviously.
With the existing festivals, right? You are kind of making new concepts, new concerts on existing platforms, and are you also creating some new events only for the capital of culture?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, probably the two major outdoor events that happen every year in Veszprem are Veszprem Fest and the Veszprem Street Music Festival. And the third one, which is right now in this sense the most important for us, is related to MOST, and is also related to your event that happened this summer at in the framework of Exit, called
It's more with world music, right?
yes, that was branded the Pachamama stage / Womba / MOST / Exit, like a fiesta of brands. So what we'll do in Veszprem, and it's in next September, is what we call a Balkan MOST festival. That will
And
be.
will there be all the kind of participants, or actually all the partners from MOST will be invited to?
It's kind of
have an
like the
call?
grand finale of MOST. Like, so all the artists who were involved in the MOST program will be showcasing there, along with some other artists, headliners, all kind of connected somehow to the region as well. So it will have a double, or I should rather say triple nature. It will be like a showcase with professionals, buyers, delegates, to like kickstart the careers of the artists involved, international careers, because a lot of them are already established domestically. And also it will be a public festival, so we expect a lot of local audience, of course.
That's great. I mean, what we experienced also during Novi Sad, Capital of Culture, is the fact that, okay, it's great to promote and to give space for very famous and big names and stars. Obviously, audiences crave always for big names, but we really worked on also pushing and nurturing the local art scene as well as the regional scene. And we collaborated a lot with Login. He really helped us quite a bit, not only with booking the international artists who are very big, but also we created, by coming to these showcases, these events, which I think is very important as exchange, we scouted some really great new talent, and then we made, for example, in our platform dedicated to creativity of young people, we had a showcase of emerging young bands from the Balkans. So it was kind of also created mainly and curated by a younger team in our company, which was very interesting. And I think that, yeah, I mean, these kind of collaborations and exchanges on that level are important. So that's something that I would also kind of advise for any other new capital of culture to work on, because it's much more practical, and then you create like a big network, and then it just becomes more easy to make these connections, and also it gives space for the new talent to showcase. And now, like when you see, for example, me and my colleague Irena, she's just there, she's a booking manager. We were here last year, and we saw one really great Italian band here in. No, it's. Big Jacks, yeah. It was, yeah. They're very good, and nobody knows about them in Novi Sad. And we're like, I think this will be very interesting to showcase in our festival. And yeah, we invited them. They like blew the stage away, and they loved Serbia. Then they had they were booking more shows in our country and in the region. So you really opened doors for them, and these artists, they really appreciated it. We also discovered Koala Voice, great Slovenian band, while we were here. And then some other colleagues found some other bands when they were on the other showcase conferences. So that's really great. Are you planning to invite any interesting new emerging bands or any big stars?
Of course. I mean, if we talk about MOST,
if it's a secret, then you don't need to.
No, it's not. Yeah. But MOST is all about emerging artists from the Balkans. So like, and there's a lot of showcasing going on. Showcasing is one of the tools that we are using. So just like this year at PIN, I think there are 4 or 5 artists that were included in most showcasing, like obviously the Macedonian ones, or some of the Macedonian ones, Kalata, Zarina Privashevda, Baklava, Peria showcase last year, I guess, or last year, yes. And we'll have Divanhana and Lenhard tapes also, yeah, from Subotica. I think that's all this year. But
will you have any shows or any events in terms of music that are focused on female creativity? I would like to highlight one very interesting event that we had, and maybe it's just a nice concept. It was on the mountain of Fruška Gora, actually Vrdnik village. We had a festival dedicated to female creativity. So the headliners were women. It was dedicated to our first contemporary poet. So the theme revolved around her. But we involved all different types of arts, from poetry to literature to theater. And in terms of music, we had also some very interesting names, both regional, local, and international, global. We had first time Warpaint in Serbia. It's like this American indie band, yeah. Then Tarija, Turun, and then we had also Macedonian, Calliope. It was very interesting fusion of music. And what was interesting is that it was actually the first big festival dedicated to women, which I think is very cool.
I can't say we have anything focusing entirely on women or female-made culture. But I mean, obviously there is attention on having gender-balanced programming, and I think there are some programs that are kind of women-focused but not music-related in Veszprem.
And anything related to like focusing on young people?
Basically, most of the stuff I think is focusing on young people. Well, as music many times is. So it's when it comes to most, it's again mainly about young artists. Not entirely, but mainly. But now that, I mean, you've got like 1 more month to go with Novi Sad. Do you see already any results, or is it too soon to call?
Yeah, I think we are actually seeing a lot of results, which I think are positive. And maybe if we have time a little bit later towards this panel, we can show some interesting after movies videos of our events, and which is interesting because when we were here last year, we were presenting our program and we didn't even start it, but we were talking about our concept and all the plans. And now a year later, I can proudly say that we basically accomplished whatever we planned, which was quite great because it's not easy. It's a huge project and there were a lot of challenges as well, but it was good. It was successful. Mainly because it was a strong teamwork and we didn't have a lot of cancellations. In terms of artists, we didn't cancel anyone. We actually, we were very open towards all the nationalities. So basically, when it comes to the results, what I think is the most interesting is the inclusion of different topics through the music and obviously other arts, but since music is focused, I think that's important to mention. So I'll just give you an example. We have a platform dedicated to marginalized groups, which means that artists who have some kind of an impairment are invited to perform, where we had a Grammy award-winning Evelyn Glennie. She's a Scottish percussionist and she's 90% deaf. She came to perform, and then there were workshops for kids also with some kind of problems in their physical development, and also the creativity of other minority groups which are not like a culture, they're more like a B-sides culture. So then we had, as I mentioned, creativity of females, which is important because we dedicated one entire platform of our program for that. Then we had programs which were dedicated to peace and reconciliation in the region, and then we brought the bands which are more in that line, and then we created this big collaborative concerts, actually philharmonic concert between Dortmund Philharmonic Orchestra and Belgrade Philharmonic Orchestra, with 9 Beethoven symphonies were played in one day, celebrating the culture of peace, which was actually one of the biggest classical music events in Europe. Then during migrations, we had also very interesting world music concerts, again related to the themes. So it was not easy to combine all the artists with particular themes, but that was our aim, and we're happy about it. And in terms of like the numbers of artists, I think since we started the preparation for Capital of Culture till now, we have around over 5,000 different artists involved. And yeah, I mean, I would like to say that we are also going to have Doček this year. Actually, 2022 is ending, but we are planning to continue our legacy. So, because we want to reward our citizens with another platform, we managed to save up money. Good, yeah, and we'll definitely have interesting shows. We had a bit of a pressure, and because of this whole, I'm just inspired a little bit by the topic of canceling artists that I just listened a while back at Rusina Hall. We couldn't really involve, unfortunately, Russian artists last year, actually this year, not because we wanted to cancel them, but because it was difficult to travel and to plan everything. So before the war, yeah, but we were supposed to have Short Paris in March, and that was impossible for them to come. And but we will have them in January. So and I'm glad, because these people shouldn't suffer because of whatever is going on in the world. So we're trying to kind of keep a balance between everyone. We're inviting Ukrainian artists as well to participate, and I just hope this entire problem gets sorted soon. But definitely artists are the one who usually spread the messages of peace and who are there to balance the craziness of this world. So they should have their voice out there, I guess.
I mean, it's not our topic, but I'm interested.
Yeah.
Can you feel in your audience this supposedly huge migration from Russia to Serbia?
Yeah, yes,
I mean,
do
you target programs at that kind of special segment of an audience?
There is a big influx of Russians in Serbia, and as a result, there was something positive, I have to say. In Belgrade in September, our fellow colleague Stefan he organized in Belgrade a showcase. It was called Changeover. It was really good. It was a fusion of artists. There were Serbian artists and there were Ukrainian artists, Polish artists, Russian artists. It's kind of post-punk festival. It was really nice, and it's strange, it's sad. I mean, those people here are refugees. Obviously, they escaped from their home. So, but yeah, that was interesting, because I don't think we had something like that happening in Belgrade before. So it's a positive impact of migrations, I would say. And do you have you have influx of Ukrainian people or more? Okay.
Yeah. More, but
and
not.
Are they
not at the extent that
Yeah.
what I'm hearing about Serbia and Russia.
Yeah.
So it's.
I mean, it affects some other things. Obviously, it's no big migration is easy to manage, but it's how it is. Yeah. I mean, at least in terms of creativity, they have platform to perform. So yeah. Okay, let's. There's brighter topics.
Yeah. I wanted to speak a bit about MOST, as it is in the title of our. And MOST is a brighter topic, yes, of course.
Yes.
But I suppose, as I'm looking around in the room, that probably everybody is familiar with MOST to a more or lesser extent, because also by now MOST is, I think it's quite known in the region. But just to sum it up very briefly, it's we've got a lot of different activities in 4 different areas. One targeted at artists, one at managers, agents, one at festivals and venues, and one at what we call urban creatives and municipalities. And actually right now at PIN you can meet a lot of people who are somehow involved, because we've got a group of managers present, like around 25 people, a group of urban creatives present, around 8-10 people. And also, I said, in the lineup there are some artists involved. And what's most important is that next year in Veszprem, it will be 7 to 10 September. You can meet all of these people, probably, or most of these people. And I think that's a crucial event in terms of having a lasting impact of MOST, because MOST is, I haven't said that, but probably you already guessed, it's an EU co-funded project, and it happens to many European projects that, you know, when the project is out, then it's like there is a emptiness left after that, and the impact is not very long, and we plan the opposite. So we.
That's good. I mean, these projects last for like a couple of years, and then they created very interesting connections between artists, and they really, I think what's the best is the legacy that remains from like these art managers as well, who really kind of become experts in the fields and get again connected, and then maybe create a new project together, which is this kind of circle that goes on. So what do you feel is the biggest kind of achievement of this project? Because we supported MOST, like our foundation obviously is one of the partners, but I think in terms of like creating programs, you were directly really involved. So what do you feel is like the biggest impact that you created?
Yeah, I think the biggest impact is the number of people involved and the number of people who got to know each other through MOST. I mean, we've done a lot of things, and this is not a direct impact, but I think this is the one that can bring along the most lasting change. There are like 400 or 500 people altogether involved. So even if after the project ends, I think these 400 or 500 people in the region who already know each other, it's quite a big group. And if they can remain connected and do things together, that can do a lot for the music scene in the region.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we have also our fellow colleagues who participated in MOST as in this kind of art managers segment of the project. So it's interesting. And then again, like, because every project kind of ends, like our foundation, then you will have also your Veszprem capital of culture, and MOST will end. But as I mentioned, that people will grow, they will connect, and then hopefully create new interesting platforms and projects together. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you agree, but maybe it would be interesting for the audience, to see a little bit of what Novi Sad as capital of culture did in 2022. So just to have an idea, to bring you a little bit, whoever came to these events, they can maybe remember what was going on.
It's not a silent video, right?
It is. It has music, yeah. But if it's not working, then
it will.
This was actually pre-opening of our festival. Actually, sorry, program. Tesla Light Gallery, which was first light festival in Serbia. It was on 31st December, and it was obviously fusion of visual arts and performing arts together. It kind of gathered, I think, over 15,000 people together, and the way we started the year, I think that was important. It was good. We had a very good reach, and the program was very nice. So we kind of got confidence that we can conquer the year. And then after this, we had an official opening, which was on 13th of January. The concept of this day, actually, it's Serbian New Year. So our platform Doček celebrates this intercultural identity of Novi Sad, to New Year's, to Christmases, to kind of calendars as well. And we had, I think, over 30 concerts all over the city in different locations by both very acclaimed artists such as Morchiba or Christabel, and also some regional stars, including Josipa Lisac, for example. And then again, young emerging bands, and we had an open call for all the bars, so they kind of involved the local scene, so the whole city was extremely vibrant during one day. So this video that you're seeing, everything happened in one day. That was the day of our official opening of the title year. And this was the festival that I was telling you about, which was focused on female creativity. It is Fruška Gora. This festival was basically also aimed to gather families around. So it had a lot of programs for children. And I think it's something because you have this Balaton region, which is very interesting. These outdoor events in nature where you kind of surprise the audience a little bit by the new environment, and they kind of get to feel everything in a different way, is very important. We had famous actresses who were, for example, reading poetry and fairy tales to kids, so day programs were usually dedicated for families and children. And then we had night programs that gathered, again, some of the best classical musicians in Europe, the ladies. Violinist Simone Lamsma, she's from Amsterdam, best viola player in the world. Tabea Zimmerman from... That was Amira, yeah. So we had a little bit of world music, a little bit of pop. This is Jenny from Ace of Base. And obviously theater performances, because we like to include this multidisciplinary approach to art. I mean, Warpaint band from US, some producers who work for Exit, they said it was the best sound they have ever heard. They didn't even have a sound check. They had their sound guy who was like extremely professional. They just came to the stage, but the sound was just incredible. And this is one of my favorite events. This was dedicated to young and emerging bands. This is in the Creative District. This is the area in Novi Sad which was completely reconstructed for the purpose of our project. Yeah, Chinese district, exactly. So again, 3 stages, a lot of young musicians, different genres from alternative rock to hip hop and trap to pop. It was and indie music. It was all gathered together, and it was nice to see young people enjoying it, because we need to take care of all the audiences, but to take care of also the quality of music. We don't like to promote this bad turbo subculture. So we didn't have shows like that. And this is the event which was happening in Novi Sad Fair. It's actually, it was during the book fair in Novi Sad, which again had a very interesting approach, because it combined literature, it combined talk shows with the writers, and at one angle, and then on another stage we had a hall for performing arts, where we had theater, where we had bands from all over the world. We had one of the best. Well, I wouldn't say one of the best guitarists in the world, but definitely a very interesting person and a big star. He's from Japan, Miyavi. I don't know if you heard of him. They call him Samurai Guitarist. He opened this event. Strangely, we were surprised. He just posted on his Instagram that he's coming to Serbia, and I don't know how many people from Europe and everywhere, they just came, because he was never in this region. He's very popular. Then we had Enigma, which is, and Gotham Project. So it was kind of targeting different parts of the world through different genres of music, to talk about how migrations through music impact the world and society. And this is what I was telling about when it comes to classical music. This is Beethoven's Marathon. It was just spectacular. And the good thing about this event is that we had the main 9th Beethoven Symphony played on the main stage of Exit. So that stage is usually perceived as a place for obviously rock bands, alternative bands, electronic music, and then we had this stage filled with the joy of classical music under the open sky. So it was very beautiful.
So it's not even over yet, but you have an after movie already.
Well, yeah, when we finish the program, we immediately make an after movie. Otherwise, you'll forget. There's so many programs, you know. Yeah. Have you been to any of our concerts?
Well, obviously the Exit,
yes, of course. Yeah.
Exit/Most showcase. Yeah. Yes, and actually this was a very important part of the Most concept, that it happens that in the region, like for 4 years in a row, there is a capital of culture, European capital of culture. Like it was Rijeka 2020, which, well, it didn't really happen.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah, it was
they
basically
just had the opening and that.
Yeah, basically cancelled for COVID. But then you were already lucky in this sense, so you had time to reschedule. So Novi Sad 22, Veszprem 23, Timisoara also rescheduled to 23.
Yeah.
So it's 3.5 capital of cultures.
That you kind
and
of
that we kind of connected to, and this can, you know, accelerate, fortify the impact of Most through the partnerships. I mean, Exit is a partner. The Timisoara Capital of Culture is a partner.
Yeah, that's great. Do you think within Exit, because this year was World Music Stage was a little bit bigger, do you think there is a potential to have like a bigger stage and bigger audiences for the future?
Well, my understanding is that this is their plan.
Yeah, because I think that would be
to
really
keep
great.
that and develop that further.
Yeah.
So yes, I mean it's totally their decision. I mean, but I really hope, because that's the kind of change that Most aimed to bring along. Also to start new stuff and to bring more weird music to already existing bigger festivals. So yes, this is one of the things that we wanted to achieve. Yeah.
As I remember, there was in Budapest in April. Ritmo. Yeah, it was really great when it comes to certain bands, and I just wish like there was this band that comprised of Brazilian singer, and she was also playing some drums and everything.
I am.
Yeah. So I was just imagining that band in our country, perhaps in Exit, on a bigger stage. You know, that would be fantastic as eventually a concept, to have these bands which are not very famous in Serbia, to say, like perform in front of bigger crowd. But then I think it's important then to connect them with some maybe regional star which is already popular, that will bring the audience, and then you bring some band like that also to be featured, and then they get more publicity. Maybe that's the way.
But you also just had this Pocket Globe Festival in Novi Sad, which is great, I'm hearing it was
Bojan
great.
Djordjevic,
Maria and Bojan.
Hello, guys. Yeah, it was great. I was unfortunately not able to attend because I had to travel to Nova Gorica, but it was
another European capital of culture coming up, 25.
Yeah, that they will have interesting program. Absolutely, yeah.
Of course.
Please join. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I'm Maria from Serbia. Yeah, I was in this team that organized the World Music Festival Pocket Globe within European Capital of Culture, Novi Sad. It was an amazing experience. I wanted to ask you, or maybe it's more comment, or I don't know, about sustainability and what after the Novi Sad European Capital of Culture will happen. Because from our point of view, when we applied as organization for the call to organize the festival and we were chosen, we didn't know how it's going to work. But now we are really delighted about everything, the organization, the audience. It was really fantastic first edition of the festival. And what's more important is that we will continue to do that festival. Of course, it was easier this year because we were supported through the project. But in next years we have to fight, for the budget, but we will do it. So the Pocket Globe Festival will continue after this European Capital of Culture will finished, and also what we saw that Novi Sad really needed World Music Festival, and that Novi Sad has a world music audience. We really has a nice audience, and the audience was really fascinated also by some programs, not only concerts, but also some lectures that we organized by artists. So that was really kind of a fantastic mood that was all lasted through all these festival days, 4 days in fact. So yeah, we will do it later. So that's some maybe something about sustainability. Well, so it was not the first and the only edition of that festival. We will continue to do it. Yeah.
That's great. I mean, that's kind of what our purpose is. You give a platform to great projects, to great organizations, and to support the ideas. And I do hope, and we are planning also to continue with our project on a smaller scale, obviously, as a legacy, and then obviously we'll always be there to support good collaborations. And I also heard that the festival was amazing, and I obviously saw the material. It's really great. I mean, these things definitely should continue. Yeah. Anybody else has
is
any
there any question? If Maria started already the questions.
We already started
but
other part of that.
Is there anybody else, or we can just let you go and have your lunch? Something regarding MOST? Wanna know more about that?
No, actually, I have a question from Novi Sad. Okay. So I would be interested to know whether you had a dedicated strategy to attract a foreign audience from other countries, or you had any programs for them, or you were more focused on the local audience and getting up.
Well, in terms of you're asking me about the audience reach. Yeah, we had obviously. Campaign that was focused on attracting more like regional audiences. Our program was diverse. It was very international. Obviously, we're present in foreign medias. But when it comes to like social media campaigns, due to obviously budgets and everything, it was mainly focused on the region. We had obviously the outreach towards all the other European capitals of culture to share through their medias, and we had like significant influx of foreign tourists in our year during European Capital of Culture compared to the previous years, which I think is the best kind of proof that it worked out. Now, whether there should be more, absolutely. And I think what was also good, because a lot of people from outside, they were coming to Belgrade, and then they hear that Novi Sad is European Capital of Culture, and that title, that kind of brand, if you want to call it, will definitely attract them to come and see programs that were happening there. We had ongoing exhibitions all throughout the year, and obviously in peak times of the years we had also different festivals and events that were happening. Yeah, I mean, I think this project, what I see, really changed the perspective also of the local people, how they perceive different nationalities, which I think is important for our country, and it gave foreigners a little different idea of Serbia, which I think having this reputation of war-torn country is quite important. So yeah.
The expectations of the city were the more like social, cultural, or more economic, tourism, businesses, whatever?
Well, you mean like what the city strategy was? We wanted to boost the creativity and activities, obviously, of already established institutions and local artists, because through this project you really kind of boost the quality of the programs. You push the institutions to be better. We had so many different seminars organized, for example, just how to apply for European projects, because we didn't have those platforms before. So now, for example, we have this big exhibition about Mileva Marić-Einstein, which was funded by IPA project, and Museum of Novi Sad applied for that. And we really worked a lot with them to kind of show them how to do it and to explain to them why it is valuable to become a part of the project. Now, in terms of the tourism and in terms of like economy, obviously this project is also for that. And I think it just takes a lot of time for certain maybe bodies to understand the impact, but now seeing the results, there is understanding, definitely. And when you want, we will do evaluation. Obviously, we can't do evaluation during the title year. Next year, we are doing the evaluation, and we will kind of have the full report of all the results that we have achieved, and that will be the biggest indicator. Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, then thank you. Do your
Thank you very
homework.
much.
Check out the Balkan MOST Festival in Veszprem, 7 to 10.
I can't wait for Veszprem to become capital of culture. I have to say,
Because it also means that you are not anymore, and then it's
yes, whew, yeah, finally. But it's a very cool city. I mean, it's and the team.
Isn't it?
It is very cool city. Why? Because you go there and it's small place, like what, 50,000 people, 60,000 people. But the most interesting thing is the surrounding areas of the city. There is Lake Balaton is huge, and then because when I was there for European Capital Culture family meeting, they took us around for different wine tastings and shows outside the city, and you really get to experience the nature and the real flavor of the region, which I think is your big strength. And the fact that that it is a city of music and there are so many outdoor events going to happen next year, I think it's a definitely must-visit destination. And what you did in terms of infrastructure is amazing, because like as European Capital Culture, you also have obligation to have certain infrastructural projects completed. We did throughout this, from 2016 till now, we had developed 8 cultural stations, this creative district. Certain things we have been completing this year. But you guys, you finished everything before the title year, which I think is very impressive. I think you have also very strong government support for this, which is obviously the key factor.
The infrastructural part of the project wasn't so ambitious as for
as
example,
for Novi Sad.
Yeah,
True though, but still,
it's
it's nice to see things done in time. Yeah.
Yeah, so come if you can to Veszprem. And the best time to come is probably when the most showcases happening, which is still good weather, but already not the high season.
Yeah,
September.
that's great. Yeah.
So yeah, see you there. Have your lunch. Thanks for coming.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Sara.
Thank you. Thank you.